The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, that's on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Welcome to the March 25th edition of One Nation Live. James, what's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Just I guess waiting for what is now the go-home shows of Raw and SmackDown. Seeing that now for WrestleMania they like to shoot the big stuff 2 weeks out as opposed to the go-home show. So I'm ready for tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I thought they were trying to sell out a dome here. So I don't understand all the hesitation and the waiting and putting shit off to this point. We're here now. I feel like we should be, at least. But yeah, a couple things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the beatdowns between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, and the reception to both, the execution of both, and also we're going to unveil our WrestleMania match orders. Now, we wrote these down and we have not revealed these to each other yet, so I don't know what James has got written down. He doesn't know what I have. So it'll be interesting to see, where what we each would do. We're also going to talk about Strong Style Evolved and get into some of the questions that you guys left us involving Hulk Hogan, involving the WrestleMania build-up for The Undertaker, or the last couple of them. And I believe there are a couple more. But first, Monday night, Roman Reigns was out here in Dallas, and apparently he was suspended, but he showed up anyway, and he was out there looking for Brock Lesnar to be punished and asking what his punishment is, and, just more types of, uncheerable kind of things. Then all of a sudden, they were like, hey, you got to get out of here, you're not allowed to be here, and we got these guys here to escort you out. And these guys meant the U.S. Marshals that were in Texas. One thing I found interesting about this, none of the marshals were strapped. So you expect me to believe 3 cops in Texas don't have guns, for one. Two, Roman Reigns came out here and was beat up, or beat up these U.S. Marshals when they essentially were just trying to arrest him. And somehow he did not end up shot dead. So I had a million problems with this. I'll throw it to you before I really unload. What did you think about how that whole thing went down? The thing about wrestling I think we all enjoy and like is that when a good story is told or something dynamic happens, it'll drag you into being able to suspend your disbelief and then kind of dive into the story with it and be enthralled by the whole entire show or by the story that's being told. And one thing that happens to me when I watch anything is something is just too it's tone deaf or kind of sticks out to me like a sore thumb or whatever. It kind of pulls me out of it and it messes up my enjoyment for the story. Him getting escorted by U.S. Marshals and then him stomping these dudes out while handcuffed, and then there's no repercussions for him really, and he's a good guy. That was kind of dude, I don't really get it. You're supposed to be a badass. I get that, cool, but like after Austin stunned McMahon, and obviously we can't be comparing everything to the Attitude Era or whatever else, but like when Austin was out here getting revenge or beating Vince's ass, and then there was always security or police or whatever else, he never fought the police or whooped his ass. Like, basically, he was doing what he was supposed to do, which was, I'm going to sit here until someone comes and gets me out of here, which is fine. And then the police show up, that's fine. And then they told him to go, so he doesn't want any static, so take. But one of them grabs him the wrong way, and then all of a sudden it's like that provokes him to stomp out 3 police officers. Now, why is that guy a good guy? That makes no sense. Yeah. Like this also goes in line with like this when we talk about Roman last year when he did what he did to. Like, there's a disconnect. Like they don't know what they want him to be.
One more time, James. You had cut off. He did what he did to what?
After what he did to Strowman, like
Gotcha.
there's a disconnect, like from week to week on what they want him to be. Like, do they want him to be the good guy or not?
Right. Now, especially like in Texas, the same city where they were out here shooting police officers and all that, and he's gonna stomp out cops and all that. And mind you, I'm not one to be like sticking up for cops or anything, but I just feel like that situation would have gone a little bit differently if that was me and you out there. So. Yeah. That was the problem I had with it, and I think there was a moment like they played it up for laughs almost after a while. Like when Lesnar came out there and whooped his ass, it seems like they got the reaction they wanted. Like people were like, "Man, this guy Lesnar's an asshole," But then it kept going, and then it was like that little bit of sympathy that Roman Reigns may have like somehow like pulled out of the crowd slowly morphed into "You deserve it" chants as he was just getting thrown off the what's the fucking thing called, the gurney. He was getting thrown off the gurney, and the other part that had me like just like, this is so stupid. When Lesnar came out there and whooped the dude, Michael Cole was like, Lesnar should be the one that's being arrested. Like, it's like, bro, you just seen this man like mash out 3 cops. Like, what are you talking about? Stop the tomfoolery, bro. Like, I don't understand this.
Like, if you take away the context of this is a wrestling show or this is a TV show and it's bullshit, right? If you just throw in like the real life situation of like, you take that away, it's like this guy was out here fighting cops and beating up cops. One guy basically comes out and stops this freaking lunatic. Like in a real life situation, Brock Lesnar gets toured around his city, his community, and is heralded as a hero.
Yeah, I don't know,
but
bro.
he's the guy that should be arrested. I don't understand. I thought Blue Lives Mattered, Rich. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, man. So one thing, Simon, I see left a comment. He said, "Why did Reigns have his tactical vest on like he was there for a match?" He did not. He had the Roman Reigns tank top on. That kind of looks like the vest, but it is not the vest.
Yeah, he had an undershirt on. Yes,
right. So, how did the thing like do anything for you as far as like the build for the show, like, or how would you have done this? Because I have my idea of how I would have done it.
I would have just had him fight, and then had like the geeks in the back try to break them up. I would have had them do a pull apart or a brawl, one of the two, or both, or whatever else. Like. Or I would have had them, bring out security geeks, not cop geeks, and I would have had those two break those two up, or they would have went through them like a hot knife through butter to get to each other. It would have been something along those lines where like, this is Roman's been talking so much shit over the past 3 weeks or whatever about how he's this privileged prick. And I would have had Braun pissed off about this whole situation. They got the pissed off part, but it made Brock look like an opportunist, which is fine. But like they overdid it, and then like the crowd's short sympathy for him wore out, like you said. So, it it was one of the situations where like they missed because they got a little too cute, and that happens from time to time with them. But like the idea worked until it didn't. So I don't know what you're supposed to do. And like I think they felt that like the crowd wasn't going to be, you know, on Roman's side until he got beat over and over and over. The problem is they should have called an audible. Like once they should have did the situation where like he kept coming out until Brock got boos. Like, and it turned out where he got boos off rip, so that should have been the end of it.
So, how I would have done it, I would have had Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar out there in the ring, cutting a promo, basically talking all the shit, answering everything that, you know, Reigns has been saying about Brock Lesnar, you know, whatever. And then, you know, it's real simple. Roman Reigns runs in from the crowd, no words necessary, no crying about it's not fair that this guy doesn't show up and I'm here. None of that bullshit. Roman Reigns hits the ring like a ball fire and wears Brock Lesnar's ass out. That's exactly how you would have just got that man cheered. I've said it week after week on this show. He's going to have to earn it physically with this, because anything they do is just going to get met with a side eye, because it's like, y'all are moving these goalposts over here now for this man. Y'all bending over backwards this way to get this man cheered. Just let him fight. Literally. You don't have to do much for that. Do what you're doing with Styles and Nakamura, essentially, at this point, which is nothing. Like, and I don't, wow. You know, I really think he should have ran in from the crowd. He could have been escorted off from there by, like, security or whatever. Not cops without guns. That's just stupid. Yeah, and then from there, and then you somehow either you do like some type of hard way with Lesnar. Lesnar has to walk away like bleeding or whatever, and like looking angry and whooped and everything like that. And while Roman is being carried out of there, and then you know what? After that, you have Paul Heyman and them come out there at the end of the night after that and say, we're gonna finish what we were talking about until we were interrupted by Roman Reigns. And then what? James, I bring Roman Reigns' ass back out there again and whoop Brock Lesnar's ass again. That's what you do with this shit, and that it would be so easy to get Roman Reigns cheered, I feel like. But WWE,
you know what's also weird about this situation is that like when you look at Brock's singles feuds from like from last year, pretty much all of them, like. He sold his ass off for Strowman in the lead up to the feud. He sold his ass off for Joe. He sold his ass off for Goldberg. And this time it's like, oh, like the guy is actually really going to beat me and be, you know, and be the next guy. Like, I ain't selling for him. Like, that's weird.
Stupid. What up, Casey?
I don't get it.
Yeah, man. It's a weird thing, like with how, you know, they're doing this. But let's compare that to what happened on Tuesday, or do you got any more?
One more thing I want to mention, though, right?
Yeah,
is like this entire feud is that like Roman deserves it, right? Like you deserve it. Like the whole thing is like I'm the one here busting my ass every single, like almost like the Miz promo when he cut on Bryan a year ago, and it's like I'm the one each and every week in that ring beating people up, right? Like, that's what Roman is basically saying. Like, where's my props? Because I'm the one that's here every single week, and Brock feels like he's better than everyone else because he just come and go as he pleases or whatever. And it's like, he basically like, I want my participation trophy. Like, that's cool, that's great, but like...
I want the props now?
You look at what AJ did, I think it was either this past Tuesday or the one before when, like, they were talking about, or actually it was like the week after Fastlane, after the 6-way, and the crowd was like, "You deserve it," and then he cut him off. He was like, "I don't deserve it. I earned this.
Right?
Like I deserve to be here. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? How dare you say I deserve it? Like I don't deserve shit. I earned it."
Right. I think that's
and
the
then
best
you look at like Roman,
shit.
And Roman's whole feud is like, "I deserve it. Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, it's It's a weird, like, you know, situation in a sense, because we already know, man. Like, just have them fight. Like, just have them get out there and do it, man. And then if this match, the way that beatdown went, if this match is not a no disqualification match or a last man standing match or something with like no rules, they're making a serious mistake. I don't think they need to come out here and do this.
I agree 100% with you.
This Suplex City lumber around strong style match. They're past that at this point. They need to just go out here and Extreme Rules, however you want to do it. And I know it's WrestleMania, so they want to try to keep it pretty or whatever. But nah, this shit, it needs to be down and dirty. This needs to be a grudge match. There's so many ways you can just make this thing the main event, essentially, that it should be. And they're walking into it essentially like, whatever. These are our ideas. We're gonna put Vince in essentially in Brock's corner and use Vince McMahon to get Roman Reigns over. Like, man, it leaves a lot to be desired on my end.
Well, I don't know how much of it. Well, I think that was a 1 week thing with Vince. I don't think Vince is going to be in it
part of
consistently.
That was still part of it.
That's true, but I mean, like, I don't think that's gonna continue on to like tomorrow's TV and then like the go home show's TV or even at WrestleMania. Like, I think the most you might get with Vince is like there might be some backstage thing like at WrestleMania or whatever, but that might be about it. But I really have a hard time imagining Vince, like, because Vince at this point, he hates being on TV because he thinks he's too old.
Yeah.
Which he kind of is, but, you get my point. Like, he doesn't really want to do that. So, especially for, like, an actual real live angle. Like, he might, or a real live, like, be a part of the story for real. Like, I don't really think he wants to do that anymore. He should because he's still great, but whatever.
Yeah, man, but let's talk about the juxtaposition that on Tuesday night, there was also a beatdown, and it featured, I guess we can talk about Daniel Bryan's return speech as well. We did our breaking news audio about an hour before that went on the air, and no question, I watched them both. I watched the retirement speech, and then I watched the promo back-to-back. ESPN actually uploaded this from their account, the whole Daniel Bryan return promo. Another major coup. Daniel Bryan's a big deal out here in these streets. But yeah, he cut that promo, and he said it was one line. It was like, you got to fight for your dreams so your dreams will fight for you. And it was just like, at that moment, we knew, like, he was back. And everything, that I had missed about Daniel Bryan, it came rushing back immediately in that moment. Like, complete crowd control. He never once said that, I'm looking to go to WrestleMania and all this stuff. The fans told us for him what his destiny needed to be. It was absolutely one of the best promos I've ever seen in my life. James, you got any thoughts from you on that promo?
I think it was a great promo. I think that it was probably the most touching thing. Yeah, not probably. It was the most touching thing to happen in WWE since November when Charlotte ran into Rick's arms after retaining or winning the title in Charlotte. Like, it's one of those moments to where, like, it was a great feel-good moment. And I think we kind of need a few more of those per year, just in general. But it's kind of hard to get those because, like, this was like a real life situation. Like, this dude's career was done over in WWE, at least.
Right.
Like, he was done. And like, he was headed on his way out the door. And then, like, a guy that was, like they announced it, a 4-time freaking champion comes back who's still, like, old enough to be, or still young enough to be a guy on the roster on a consistent basis. On TV wrestling, like, that's a big deal. It was great.
And then later on in the show, Daniel Bryan came out for another segment, and this is Daniel Bryan going back to the old Daniel Bryan, where he's essentially carrying SmackDown again already. 2 segments, So he comes out there and cuts a promo with Zayn and Owens. He gets handshakes and hugs from them, and he really kind of confirms in storyline what Shane McMahon had been saying about him, how he related to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. He knew them for 15 years, and if he told them 10 years ago that they would be wrestling each other at WrestleMania, they wouldn't have believed it. They won, and they still, they just took it too far. Habitual line steppers, what they were doing.
Like, yeah, and it's funny because, like, one of the cool things about, like, the Mixed Match Challenge was seeing, babyface Becky Lynch, who, like, since Daniel Bryan has been gone and, like, Sami has turned heel, is like the true, like, conscience of the WWE as far as, like, being like a babyface and actually standing for something in like whenever she's got an opportunity anyway, right?
Right.
And
they
to
don't
see
give her
like
singles matches on pay-per-view anymore.
Yeah. Right, and like to see like that situation where Becky and Sammy were like basically trying to convert each other to their sides or whatever.
Yeah,
it lets you know like this person stands something and like she wants you to stand for what you used to, right?
Right.
Well, like you look at the Daniel Bryan thing, and the Daniel Bryan situation was like Sammy, Kevin, we've known each other for this long, like. If they told you to get a single match at WrestleMania 10 years ago, you would have took it. You would have been happy. You would have been grateful. But you won. Like Shane was leaving. You got your match. You got matches at WrestleMania. Like something you bust your ass to get, and that wasn't enough. Y'all deserve to be fired. He's absolutely right. Like that was just like so. It was so simple, but like it made like all of the 6 months or I guess 5-6 months of back and forth between those four, and then also involving Nakamura and Orton in it at times. Like that was a culmination, and it wrapped it all up in a really nice, neat bow. Even like it truly did. Like we always talk about how sometimes these feuds make no sense, so they're going to have to, go ahead and make it make sense in the ring. He made sense in one promo. And then you get the angle from there.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
So from there, like Kevin Owens, essentially a guy that his whole deal in WWE is like, at least in the early parts was they kind of haven't really reflected on as much. He fights for his family or whatever, right? So you took this dude's job from him, and then all of a sudden you just looked at Kevin Owens and he just snapped. He was just super kicked this man, jumped on his ass immediately, and at that point I freaking gasped. Like, oh my God, they're putting hands on Daniel Bryan already. Like it's going down. Like I didn't know it was gonna happen that quick. But I guess I should have assumed when them two scumbags came out to the ring, I should have known something was up. And they had my dog outnumbered. But from there, Daniel Bryan fired up, and I saw a joke on Twitter that said Daniel Bryan started whooping ass in biodegradable sneakers out here on y'all boys. This man was kicking their ass in jeans, James, and not looking like he missed a moment. What did you think of Daniel Bryan's physical activity in there, and then also the way he's landing to protect himself? If you noticed that.
Yeah, I thought it was great. You could clearly, kind of knowing that he's been training and he never stopped really training, like you kind of expect like at least his striking to still be there, and it was there, and it was cool. I did notice that like how he basically now lifts his feet off when he does the corner drop kicks to kind of be able to flip over without like landing on his head or neck like he used to in the past. I thought that was smart. And that goes into talking about with him how he said that he's going to work on a style that's less less impact, and that's a good way to avoid that, because landing on your head and neck is not that's some young boy shit. That is not what's up. So, but I will say that it was interesting and kind of like ironic, or not ironic. I know this is the right word, but like it's kind of like, oh, so Daniel Bryan cleared to wrestle. Let's beat his ass like we like the good old days.
Like the good old days, exactly. Like the only thing I'm shocked. Look, the only thing I'm shocked. Look, I wouldn't be shocked at this rate. Daniel Bryan has to wrestle 2 matches next week. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
They love throwing Daniel Bryan out for multiple matches in the show or whatever. Had that man open the show and close the show.
It was funny how you mentioned earlier, like he's already back to carrying SmackDown. I was like, that's the third different like time in his career where like he's immediately like going on to carry SmackDown.
Yes. Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, like 2 segments, like just like old times. Go out there and do 2 different segments at 2 different times. Why? Because you are the biggest star of the show. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk about too, like the crowd's reaction. The crowd was not having none of that Daniel Bryan, people booing Daniel Bryan in this scenario or cheering Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They were 100% in support of Daniel Bryan, whooping their ass and then being angry that these scoundrels beat him down. And I feel like had you gone against Daniel Bryan in the building that night, you might have had to fight to leave.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and I think that's going to be the case for him for a while. I don't know how long it's going to last, but like he's going to be like you so much as breathe heavy on Daniel Bryan the wrong way, and like people are not going to like that shit. I don't know how long that's going to last. Like maybe after WrestleMania, maybe after a different pay-per-view feud or whatever else, like people will start calming down on the fact that like thinking he's fragile. But like right now, that ain't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't the worst thing in the world. Like all you gotta do is like make sure you look, and even if you look at like the punches that like Sam was throwing down on him, like those were like those were mid-soft.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was already getting. It wasn't like he was catching like. He
wasn't hitting them with the
Roman Reigns, the Roman Reigns forearms from the mount. Like so, yeah. I think this might make his job a little bit easier. Like you don't have to work, you don't have to lay it in on him for people to actually buy it because people are like, oh please don't, please don't.
They're
hit
so
it
scared. One other thing I want to bring up, and I had a conversation with Josh about this, and this was something I believe in Germany, and they had brought up the idea, someone from Voices of Wrestling that was talking about Daniel Bryan and the what I feel like is the fake concern for Daniel Bryan, like that is out there. So if you're that concerned about Daniel Bryan, do you not know what sport this is? This is a sport where any single bump can be your last bump, no matter who you are, no matter how healthy you are. I don't understand. Like, help me understand, James. I don't, if your concern is this great for Daniel Bryan, I literally was at the NXT show last night, right? And I believe Ricochet, he just took a fast back bump, right? I was like, bro, that could have been Ricochet's last bump. And we all had like not a laugh, but it was like, doesn't this sound stupid? Like when you're talking about the last bump, it could be the last bump for anybody, anytime they step in the ring. All bumps matter.
Wow. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously, I've said it before, like football and wrestling are like the same thing. Like, there's no such thing as a safe cigarette. Like, it is what it is. Like, either, you go into some understanding about that, but there is going to be a concern for him as far as, how do I say this? They're going to sell that. The fact that that he has had, like, there are going to be a bunch of matches, at least at the beginning or whatever else, where like people are going to like target his head, or I guess Blackenberg, almost like remember the Ziggler and Del Rio 2013 stuff.
Yeah, like that post
where like all of a sudden that man just like laying in with super kicks left and right.
Yes.
Like there's gonna be matches of that kind of ilk where it's like, oh, that dude has concussion issues or head problems, whatever else. Like, we're gonna make him sell, and I think that's smart. But I think it's also a way to make it kind of easy for him. Like, you don't have to wail in on that dude. You just have to just shoot something that looks good. I don't think you have to do all that kind of stuff to be able to get people to buy into it, because they know that like this dude lost 3 years of his career because of head injury, brain injury.
But the crowd reception to the whole scenario, like Daniel Bryan, like it's a stark contrast. I feel like what happened Tuesday night and Monday night, and anyone that didn't see it, I suggest you either wipe your eyes or because this is what it's supposed to look like on Tuesday, right? And then Monday is like, we fucked up.
I will say this though, even if they didn't do like the cop beatdown, those have just been security geeks or whatever, instead of like the Marshall thing. Like, there's still levels to this. Like, they were talking about one of the most beloved baby faces of the last, 30 years of pro wrestling. Just coming back from injury and then getting whooped on immediately, compared to a lukewarm babyface who,
bro, this is a gimme. A babyface up against the cops.
Who's been basically like who's been. Well, let me finish. Like a lukewarm babyface has like the whole claim for this whole WrestleMania feud is to complain. So like, of course that wasn't going to work. No, I don't really know what we were at. There were all different levels to start off with this to try to compare to it. But yeah, like one was already had hurdles and then like didn't help alleviate the hurdles, and then the other one was perfect, and then like they also built it perfect as well. So that's why they're so desperate. Like, yeah, definitely.
This is a baby face who can't get cheered opposite of the cops. What? Like, this is a gimme. Like.
Look, man. I'm not getting into that with you. I'm not doing
this is
that.
Awful.
Look, all I'm gonna say is this. Look, in Dallas, maybe they like police enforcement more than we do. I don't know. You know, Walker, Texas Ranger, that was a big deal for them. That was a big deal for them. I don't know.
Look, in any other situation, anybody, if you have AJ Styles facing off with the police, we cheer AJ Styles. If you have Stone Cold Steve Austin facing off with the police, if you have The Rock facing off with the police, if you have John Cena facing off with the police, like, I feel like all those other guys get cheered. Maybe they should fix this. Maybe,
but I will say this: if they had him going out there like how they've had him for months, complaining about another guy, what another guy is doing, and the privilege that person gets, and they're talking about, you know, what about me? What about the Roman?
Yes.
Then like then you know it would not be that well taken to either.
This man's out here pocket watching, like, man, his contract don't look the same. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man, it's whack to me. That being said, it's still going on last, but and I feel like for the overall, and I'm probably giving away a little bit of my next segment, but it's like, if this is what it takes for them to hurry up and get past this shit, fuck it. I just like, just do it, and then we can
think of it like this, right? Think of it like this, though, right? You can say whatever you want to about this or whatever, how ineffective he looks as a person to get behind or rally behind and whatever else. But this feud right now is going on. It's still light years beyond what they did at WrestleMania 31. Still.
I mean, look, you're correct, but what were we really comparing it to? Absolute trash.
One of the worst feuds. One of the worst
right?
main event. One of the worst main event feuds ever. Yeah. Like, my point is, like, if you judge on the Roman Reigns curve for why he deserves to get in the main event WrestleMania matches, like, this might be his best one or second best one.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's telling that the last couple years we haven't, like, kind of, like, I feel like we know what the main event is, but it's, like, not unquestioned. Like, I don't know. That whole thing last year, how they put Undertaker and Roman Reigns on last, that really bothers me. Because it's like, y'all know it wasn't Undertaker's last match. Now we know it wasn't Undertaker's last match. That was just the ultimate, like, backdoor of you know, a main event or whatever. I don't know. I think they got I think they got cold feet with Brock and Goldberg because they know they weren't going to go out there for 5 minutes in the WrestleMania main event. Like, that's just stupid.
Say again?
I said I think they got cold feet with Lesnar and Goldberg. Like, they weren't going to put them on last because they were only going to go 5 minutes, and I feel like that match was like ridiculously scripted. So they were like, just put Roman out there, fuck it, like on the last day.
That's so dumb to me.
Yeah.
Like if which match drew more attention? Which match was set up to be better? Goldberg and Lesnar was the answer for both of those. So, like, I don't get it. Like, I mean, there was a chance that, like, Undertaker and Undertaker and Roman were going to go out there and have an Undertaker Classic main event. Undertaker Classic WrestleMania match. However, like, given that man didn't do it for 30, 31, 30, for 3 straight years, chances are he wasn't going to do it again just because it's Roman.
Like, that man's out of here at this point. Like, this man is a guard in his mid-30s now. Like he's not coming back. Yeah, go ahead.
You know what's funny? I listened to Chad's podcast this week with Mr. Tito. Mm-hmm. And they both said that they thought that, like, Undertaker and Cena were going to go out here and have a really, really good match. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, and they both profess to being fans of basketball. And, you know, we've talked to Chad a bunch of times about basketball or whatever else. And I'm thinking to myself, Chad, if we weren't trying to figure out if Undertaker could have one more bullet in the chamber or whatever else.
Yeah.
Like, if he could still do that, then he would have done that any of the past 4 years. Why would we expect it to happen now? Like, granted, 30, he got concussed early in the match, so like whatever. But like, if you want to put that to the side, fine. That's 31, that's 32, and that's 33. Like, he had a Hell in a Cell match with Shane. Granted, it's Shane, but it's still a Hell in a Cell match. You know how easy a Hell in a Cell match is?
Yeah, man.
Like, think about WrestleMania 28. Think how easy that was.
Bro, they literally just waffling each other with chairs and hitting finishers and, like, faking, or not faking, but feigning, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they were despondent, like, didn't know what each other had to do to beat the other one. Like, it was really, like, a simple, like, the way Bret Hart...
And that was match of the year!
Correct.
And that was WWE's match of the year!
Yes. And the way Bret Hart described it, he was like, I knew everything they were going to do before the match, and it still fucking worked. Like... Thank you. So, if he couldn't do it with weapons, like, he has to kind of go out there with regular rules this year. Like, Cena and Undertaker really was on my list of topics, but actually, I do want to talk about Cena and Undertaker because that Cena promo was awful. Like, that segment this week, and then Kane came out there. Like, the last time we saw John Cena and Kane together, like, he was out here trying to get him to embrace the hate. Like, that just makes me see red. Like, I don't want to look at John Cena and Kane at all. Like, why are you on my screen? I think Cena's, like, 2 in a row kind of, is, like, not connecting.
Okay, so if this was not... If this were not John Cena and The Undertaker, right? Like, wouldn't this be one of the worst, like, bills for a WrestleMania headlining match ever?
This is like...
in the modern era, at least.
This is like, this is almost worse than the Bray Wyatt Undertaker one.
Say again?
Like, this is almost worse than the Bray Wyatt and Undertaker one. Because at least Bray Wyatt could be in the spooky element. Cena is out here calling Undertaker out about Instagram. He's looking desperate. I don't know, man. I thought he did a good job the first, like, major promo with it, and then since then it's just been like, this is exhausting, like, listening to this.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Like, my thing about, like, yeah, it is similar to the Wyatt feud from 31 with Undertaker. However, like, they didn't have, like, Wyatt scrambling left and right to try to make it to WrestleMania and then lose and then fail, and then throw out a Hail Mary to summon the Undertaker for a WrestleMania match. Like, and then eat a chokeslam from fucking Kane. Like, that didn't happen.
So this
is a really weird thing going on.
Since the streak has been broken, the Undertaker, and Simon actually left us he was like, the problem with the Undertaker's WrestleMania build-ups, the last truly great one was against CM Punk. And I feel like at that time, CM Punk was carrying everything. He was doing all the stuff with the Paul Bearer stuff, juggling the urn, doing all that, just cutting all the promos essentially, right? WrestleMania 30, they sign a contract and I think he stabs Brock Lesnar in the hand with a pen or something, like, and the whole thing was pretty much it was just like Lesnar was pretty much just selling big for Undertaker or whatever else, and then like pretending like, saying he's not scared, and then like Undertaker shows up and acts shook. Yeah, that was pretty much that whole feud. WrestleMania 31, he doesn't
like
do
it was
damn
good.
thing.
It was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't good. It was just fine.
WrestleMania 31, he doesn't do a damn thing. Bray Wyatt is left to carry everything himself, and I think he, we're like, hey, we're gonna give you the Undertaker 1 year after the streak. Like, that was probably about as good as you can expect, like, for a spooky element type deal. WrestleMania 32, the whole storyline was stupid to bring him back. You had the Undertaker as a mercenary for Vince McMahon. Like, this is dumb. Like, this isn't the Ministry of Darkness. Neither of these guys were heel. Like, it was like just confusing. And then Shane like loses and then still gets what he wanted to begin with, which is like, what? Exactly. And then WrestleMania 33.
No, hold on. Shane gets what he wanted after literally it's trying to extort his dad.
Yeah.
He's a babyface. What?
Yeah, man, inconsistency. But yeah, then WrestleMania 33, Undertaker and Roman Reigns were just together because one of them threw the other one out the Royal Rumble. So they have really not had a real good reason for Undertaker to fight any of these matches. And I don't know if this is necessarily any better or worse. It just feels like all a bunch of muck right now. And making up a gumbo. Ironically, we're New Orleans, we're coming up to a New Orleans WrestleMania. This is like a gumbo of shit with The Undertaker for these past couple years.
Yeah, and the worst part, and the thing that's about it that makes me like, that bothers me is, if you put Undertaker and Cena on the marquee, all you have to do is not fuck it up. Right?
You would think.
Cena didn't have to go around here losing over and over and over and failing left and right to get to like trying to like almost like a dog howling at the moon to get a WrestleMania match. Just like he goes around or whatever else, and then Undertaker shows up and says like I don't know, like this call out thing, like it's so lame, but like. If they just like went with something a lot more simpler, like they could have did. I mean, I don't think they necessarily had to do as simple as like Undertaker and Triple H WrestleMania 27, where like one's in the ring, the other one walks out, they both stare at each other. Then one stares at the WrestleMania sign, and the other one stares at WrestleMania sign, and then all of a sudden both do the sucking in the cutthroat sign. But like maybe just a little bit more than that, and that would have been fine. Like that's a WrestleMania match. You didn't have to really go through all of this. Like they've made it like to where like it's less enjoyable to get to it. But like I'm sure once the bell rings, everyone's like most people are going to be excited to see that match. So I don't get the point of all of this. Like would they be better off not even showing a video package? They just bring them out.
I bet you if they do show a video package, it's not going to be any of this shit. Like, that's Cena's doing right now, fighting Kane, nothing. Like, it's going to be simply like a historical, they're going to be showing John Cena winning the 16 titles, they're going to be showing Undertaker with the streak, knowing all that shit ended years ago. Years ago. It has nothing to do with this match. And just pure fuckery. I feel like we're in store for with WWE rewriting history and ignoring the physical condition of the Undertaker and what Cena's look like in the ring with him. And now, if these guys like come out here and pull it off, I will be surprised. I will be very surprised because I don't see it, bruh.
They put it off too long. They should have had this match at 29 or at 30 or 31. They screwed this up.
Yeah.
Or 32, but Cena got hurt. But like they had from 29 on to do this match, and they just never got around to it.
Well, yeah, man.
They could have done that at 27.
Yeah, they could have done it at 27. That might have been the perfect spot to do it, but I don't know. I don't think they wanted.
You got to get this Undertaker Miz popped off. I'm talking about you got to get this Cena Miz popped off.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, Miz, WrestleMania main eventer, do you want to talk about the Matt Hardy joint real quick before we get into? Because have you seen the whole thing?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it live.
Okay, so I didn't end up going back and watch it. So floor is yours, bro.
I mean, it's just the typical wacky Hardy compound shit, except the issue is the one thing that made people actually want to see to begin with was that like this thing was more like all the Hardy stuff was pretty much like a self-aware comedy, whereas this one was actually like made to be drama because WWE they make movies, brother. So that kind of killed. It reminded me actually like do you remember the Will Smith comic book movie from like 2 years ago called Death Squad?
I heard
or Suicide Squad, I mean.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Okay, so Suicide Squad had these issues to where, or Marvel or DC movies in general had this issue with their tone, where Marvel is pretty much like, we are PG-13. We make our movies colorful, and we add comedy into them and all of this like warmth into them for kids and to be light. Like, we don't really delve into dark stuff except for when we want to get like weighty as far as ideological stuff from time to time, whatever, like Captain America, Civil War, or Black Panther, for example. But like for the most part, like anything that's really like emotionally or heavy, like we kind of like humor our way out of that because we want to keep stuff light. Right. Well, DC wants to be more. Well, DC is making these movies more or less like dark, and the color of them is dark, and like where they like take all of the contrast or out, and they want you to kind of like feel the weight of what's going on. It's like, you know, it hits you or whatever else, and they're not really that fun, and they're also not really all that good. But Suicide Squad, when they first came out, because Suicide Squad is basically a group of bad guys teaming up together to quote unquote save the world through they were put together to save the world, not because they want to save the world, but that's what they are. So the movie comes, so you think like that's gonna be a fun movie because like it's a bunch of bad people doing bad things, saying mean things or whatever, mean cool things or whatever else, and it's gonna work out. Like they're basically cool heels, right? The group Cool Heels. So the movie comes out, or the movie was going to be released, and then they did the original version of it. It didn't test well with the audiences because the audience just thought that, like what I said, it's going to be a bunch of cool heel stuff as opposed to actual dislikable people in really, really dark tones. So they had to recut the movie and make it lighter or whatever else. But the movie was originally set up to be light, so like you see what's put out there, but it's not like it doesn't work because you see what the material originally is, and like throwing a score over it. Or throwing a bunch of like hit records from the past 20 years isn't going to liven it up that much. So that's kind of the same thing here, where it's not going to like, it's just, you don't know what your tone is.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Let's move on, man, because more I talk about the Cena Undertaker shit is just like, like I don't even want to fucking deal with it. So let's get to the main event. We'll talk about Strong Style Evolve in a little bit, but we both came up with match orders for WrestleMania. As far as I charted 14 matches. 3 pre-show matches and 11 main card matches, and I laid mine out. James, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I have to pull it up right now. So we all worked on the premise that the main card is going to have 11 matches. The pre-show is going to have 3. So for me, the very first match on the pre-show, in front of a virtually almost empty Super, I almost said Superdome like Hogan, or Silverdome like Hogan, but Superdome. Yeah. The U.S. title match in the 3-way between Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, and Bobby Roode. Get it out there, get the fuck on. No one cares. No, like this shouldn't even be on the thing. Get the hell out of here. Put it out there. Get the hell off the stage. After that would be the Andre Men's Battle Royal, and then I would make the main event of the pre-show, the Cruiserweight final between Ali and Alexander. Yeah. So now on to the main card. After whoever comes out, I'm assuming they start the show, and I think they're not going to start with a promo or whatever else like how New Day did or whatever, or for example, The Rock and Hogan and Austin at WrestleMania 30. I think The Rock, whatever The Rock does, will be later in the show.
Fuck! I forgot about The Rock. Fuck!
Oh yeah, The Rock getting 20 minutes, bro. You better believe it. After seeing that shirt, Nola your role, that's terrible. He's definitely gonna show up.
Go to hell. Like, go back to the movies. Like I don't need this, bro.
So, we'll see. We'll see what Rock does. I don't know if it's gonna be like. I think. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. Well, that's for later. But anyway, so the first match is the Intercontinental Title 3-way between Miz, Balor, and Roman. Rollins. So that's first match. Second match, the Women's Battle Royal. The third match, the Raw Tag Team title match between The Bar versus Strowman and a partner to be named later. I kind of expect it to be Joe, but we'll see. And I think they only make them the tag champions because they're going to break them up and have them have a match or pay-per-view because if they don't, how else will they ever lose those belts?
Yeah. They have to. Someone will have to shoot
them. Would they just vacate them?
Look, someone will have to shoot them. Someone will have to die, where they can no longer defend the belts. Okay, yeah. So after that will be the Raw Women's title match between Alexa and Nia, followed by the SmackDown Tag title match between the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers. I pretty much set it up to where, looking at the card, I feel like there's 6 matches that are the important matches, and everything else is below that. So I pretty much put the 5 matches that I thought were the quote unquote undercard and just put them all at the beginning of the show, and then the final 6 matches are the final 6 matches. So the first match of the big 6 would be the SmackDown Women's title match between Charlotte and Asuka. Followed by that would be Undertaker versus Cena. I really struggled between flipping the Undertaker match and the Charlotte match, but then I thought to myself, I don't know how that would really work out for fans watching at home. Obviously, we know what match was going to be better between those two, given if they're both given time and left to their own devices. But that don't really matter. The crowd wants to see Undertaker Cena more, so I put that later. Then I basically followed up by saying, okay, so what's left on the card of the final 4 matches are both brands' top title matches for the men's singles, and then after that is tag matches involving the McMahon siblings. So I decided that we'll put we're gonna put the belts. We're gonna basically put SmackDown on first, and then Raw on last, and then we'll make sure the belts are the last match between both of those. So the Daniel Bryan Shane tag match versus the Canadians, that's next. Then Styles versus Nakamura, and then Ronda and Angle versus Stephanie and Hunter, and then the main event Lesnar versus Reigns. All right. Kind of interesting choices. I thought you had you put that's a lot to get through at the beginning to get to where'd you have the SmackDown Tag Team title match?
Oh, I had that 5th.
5th, okay. Where was the Raw Women's title?
That was 4th.
4th. Okay. All right. So, how I did it, I went ahead and, Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali is on first. I think, unfortunately, they're probably going to get the shit end of the stick. I expect the match to be awesome, but I don't think anybody's going to be there. Second, I'd have in the pre-show, I'd have the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. I feel like ever since they took that Fabulous Moolah thing off it, they're not really going to push it to that level. And aside from Sasha and Bayley and maybe Becky, I don't really care about anybody else in that match. Number 3, I'd do Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal. Give them all 3 huge WrestleMania entrances. Hopefully Randy Orton can avoid walking over sperm again. And I foresee, I think Jinder, they got to do something. You know how he won the title? They got to bring out all the motherfuckers for Jinder's entrance, and then Rude basically has to have a choir on each side of him singing Glorious, I feel like. Or else, this match makes no sense. You don't do anything. This is awful, this match. But on to the main card. We had the same opener. I had Seth Rollins and The Miz.
Wait. So you're going to go through all of that with all of that, you don't spend all that money on the match that's going to end up on the pre-show?
Yeah, because fuck them.
Bro, we don't even have pyro these days.
That's fine.
Okay, whatever. It's your card. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
So from there, we had the same opener. We're going with the Intercontinental title. Seth Rollins versus Miz versus Finn Balor. We're starting it off hot. We're starting it off with three big entrances. I feel like Miz is going to come to the plate. He always does something kind of cool. Seth Rollins, we'll see. But Finn Balor for sure is probably going to show up. He was kind of made for this. Second, I'm putting on Asuka and Charlotte because I'm continuing the momentum, the good matches, in the front. Because I know one thing that gets said all the time when the first couple matches are good is this going to be the greatest WrestleMania ever? Like whenever we're watching WrestleManias together and everything like that. So I went ahead and kept that up. On third, I've got the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I think, for me, it came down to whether it was the women's or men's Battle Royal. There were a lot of guys probably going to be in the Battle Royal that I thought I cared more about rather than putting them on the pre-show.
So quick question.
Yeah.
What man is going to be in the men's Battle Royal that you care about more than Sasha Banks?
Let's see. Let's see who's not on the joint. Let's look it up.
Like, because I was on the same thing as you. Like, only one of these things, like Highlander, only one will make it, right? Only one will survive. But like, my thing was like the Sasha and Bailey thing, like, matters way more to me anyway. Maybe I'm just looking at just myself, but like they have more more stuff done for that than like anything involving like the men in the Battle Royal. And their Battle Royal, like, they just got, this is the Geek Battle Royal. At least they're like, a storyline going on in there.
So, I might not care about them as much, but I just think, like, it outweighs. You got Ziggler, you have the Revival, maybe you get the Cruiserweight guys in it. Maybe you get, let's see, like Chad Gable, American Alpha guys. Rusev, what's he doing?
Wait, Jason Jordan's hurt.
No, I meant Gable and
2.0.
Benjamin.
2.0.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Rusev, definitely. Like, and I feel like Rusev has this all over. Like, this should be his. Yeah, I'd probably say that's about it.
Okay.
So I would have men on third, have Rusev go over and go ahead and get the win. On fourth, I'd have the Usos and the New.
No, bro, you can't be wishing that on Rusev. Don't be wishing that victory on Rusev. Put that shit on, like, I don't know. Put it on Elias. Let Elias win that shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what
shit, the kiss of death.
Yeah. Casey said, give that free YouTube crowd something to watch. And I believe that was for the entrance or whatever. Yeah, you got to spend a little money to make money, even though they're giving this shit away for free.
Yeah.
So on fourth, I have the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers in a triangle ladder match. Hopefully they do, and blow that TLC shit out in the water. So on fifth, right after that crazy match, I put on Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. Do you think they're going to fuck around and Sheamus down Bryan this shit, and then people are going to be mad Alexa Bliss got squashed?
It's a real possibility. I think that it shouldn't go through. I think it should go like 5 minutes or whatever. Yeah. Because she does still have like Mickey by her side, so Mickey can help her cheat to get heat to have Nia fight from underneath. So I think it'll go like it has no business going longer than 8 minutes. It has no business, but it shouldn't go like 3 minutes either. So I think like around that time sounds about right. And then you already put the Women's Battle Royal on, so like here's the thing: like, it's WrestleMania. There's going to be a draft in the next 2 weeks. Like, people have talked about Carmella cashing in on Asuka or whatever else, but like, there's also a real big opportunity for Nia to get cashed in on as well, especially if like my card and your card has it, where the Women's Battle Royal goes on before this Raw Women's title match. So yeah, that's also there too.
And they're all in the building together. They could put that shit in at any time, and maybe I think that is a possibility. Like, maybe even somehow Nia Jax loses and fucking kills Alexa Bliss, and then Carmella comes out there and just puts her foot on Alexa Bliss like Undertaker and Macho Man.
That would be awful. You know how much better Alexa is than Carmella? You know, and like Carmella, and don't get me wrong, like, you know, we talk much about Alexa not being good enough, but like she's so much better than Carmella. That'd be terrible.
I look
like,
at them like
another chick, like we lose a chicken shit heel for a worse chicken shit heel. Great.
Yeah, I think they need to stay away from that or make her lose her cash in because I don't know what she can. Well, I'll say this about Carmella. I believe her when she's fighting in the ring. And then also, like, when it comes to getting heat, she's about it. You remember that Ellsworth shit? Like, she'll come out there and tell you about yourself. But I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to just hand the world title out for that shit. Like, do that somewhere else. So on 6th, I'm bringing up the big gun early, right in the middle of the card, almost as far away from the main event as I can get it, without, you know, it's kind of like the first half of the show main event. I've got the Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Owens and Zayn on 6th, and after that, I've got John Cena and The Undertaker because they can follow that up. Like, if it's anybody I'm worried about, like, you know, Daniel Bryan and people going nuts, like, you know, they'll want to see Cena and The Undertaker. Not going to be a big drop-off there. The drop-off may come next, though. I have, on 8th, I have Strowman and his mystery partner. And I feel like the mystery partner is good for a pop, whoever it may be, whether it's Elias, whether it's Neville, whether it's Joe. I'd like it to be Neville, personally, against the Bar. So they're on 8th.
Well, then, so basically, like, he shows up and all of a sudden that means he's graduated. He's graduated to the main roster again.
He can come back.
No, but I mean, like, he comes back, but like that means also like he's not a cruiserweight anymore. Like, he's just small.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I'd be like, I would like to see that.
Like, no one's talking about Neville right now, and for good reason. But I feel like Neville, like, definitely, like, should. Think about it. Like, he can do all the raw ass wrestling. Strowman can be Strowman, and they can hold the tag belts to whatever happens. On 9th, I have Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Strowman. On 10th, I have Styles and Nakamura. On 11th, I have Reigns and Lesnar because they're just going to do it, and if they don't do it, they're going to try to do it again next year. So I was like,
so I'm sorry, I zoned out after the Raw tag match. Do that again.
So
what's after that?
So I've got the Rousey and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie on next.
Okay.
Then I've got the 2 title matches on last, Styles and Nakamura, then Reigns and Lesnar.
Okay.
So, if it's anybody I feel like they can wrestle their way out of the quote-unquote death spot, it's those guys. Or you could just give them, you know, both main event matches 25 minutes each and then, you know, just run it, you know.
Brock Lesnar in a 25-minute match. When's the last time that happened?
Shit, hell if I know. Maybe the CM Punk match?
WrestleMania 19?
No. I think the CM Punk match and him went like 24 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Maybe the Triple H match went kind of long, too.
But, you talking about SummerSlam 12?
WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that ain't really been his thing since, SummerSlam 14 going forward.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think that match. I think your card more represents what they're more likely to do by like separating the 6 top matches. My thing is like, fuck that. Make it like no one wants to sit through matches where you come down. And plus, like with this card, like besides Nakamura and Styles, what match has to go 20 minutes for it to reach its peak effectiveness?
Honestly, none of them.
Yeah, that's my point.
Honestly,
like, there's only one match that needs to go 20 minutes in length. So,
the only place I tried to hide somebody was I didn't really think there was a good spot for the women's match, the Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. I tried to put Charlotte and Asuka on early enough to where it's like, essentially like, you'd be like, man, we started off with bang, bang, back to back, like, and then get off into, all right, Andre the Giant time, you know, stuff like that, and then you can quote unquote regroup, and then all of a sudden the ladder match smacking you in the face, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, send Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss out there, and then all of a sudden it's time for Daniel Bryan's return, you know. I don't know. I just tried to come up with what I would do if I was booking WWE.
Yeah, I just did it. I just basically did where like, okay, which matches are matches that like, are absolute draws. And I feel like there are 6 matches on this that are actual absolute draws. Like there's no way you're going to see Alexa and Nia without like saying like you also went to go see Charlotte and Asuka. There's no way you're going to see, for example, like the Bar and Strowman without also wanting to see first the three-way match on SmackDown. Like it, so I kind of set it up like that. Where like there's 6 matches that actually really matter, or it could actually be considered headlining matches. I put those all on last, and then I basically separated the other first 5 matches into where like in situations where like I can keep that entertaining until we get to the big 6 matches.
To the real.
Yeah. And like I also decided to like set the women up. Like every match that involves a woman working in the match, like I basically separated those and put those and ranked those in order. So like if you look at the women, like my card, I had Women's Battle Royal on second on the card. I had the Alexa and Nia match going on after that, and then Charlotte Asuka after that. And then the final match was Ronda and Stephanie with Angle and Triple H or whatever going on second or semi-main event or whatever. And then like after that, I filled the card out. I filled the card out from there. That's how I'd work mine. Mm-hmm. Because like they're not going to bunch the 2 women. They're not. I feel like they wouldn't bunch women's matches together like that. I don't think that would be a good idea because like you run the risk of head asses want to be like double piss break. Ha, 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 ha. So that's how I separate them.
So Nick Guerrero, he said, do you guys really think the first women's Money in the Bank cash-in will lose? I think it's a possibility. Because the landscape is so much different now than when Carmella won the briefcase, and then who the champions could be, they're going to be really strong. It looks like coming out of WrestleMania, like I feel like Asuka's probably going to walk away with the win, and barring any fuckery, I feel like Nia Jax is probably going to be the Raw Women's champion. But if fuckery ensues, I feel like then all Carmella scenarios are in play. But that's only comes after fuckery.
The only way I would feel like the only way that like Carmella would maybe she doesn't cash it, but if she does, the only way she would cash it and win would be if she beats Charlotte or if she beats Alexa. They're not going to have her. They're not going to have her beat Nia. Seeing it like that, seeing it like you're going to add a third person when they have a feud that can go for the next couple months. They wouldn't do that to Alexa and Nia. And then, like, if you're going to beat Asuka, you're going to have her lose to Charlotte. You're not going to have her lose to no fucking Carmella. And they have her chase. Ugh. Especially because, like, because if you do that, like, not only do you fuck up that, you also fucked up, like, what could be the main event for WrestleMania 35, which is Ronda versus Asuka. So, like, you wouldn't go through all that just to put over Carmella, a person that like you don't even want to put on TV most weeks.
Yeah. He also says Strowman should be in a better match. This bums me out. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
He got fucked. Like again.
Yep. Again.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Like all I can say. Like as far as with those guys, but. Let's talk about Strong Style Evolved real quick before we get up out of here. That is taking place later on tonight. James, you'll be doing a show with Jeremy and Josh over on Keeping It Strong Style. And you'll be joining them for a review, but I want to go through the card. It's a lot of it. This is not like the New Japan and G1 where there was a tournament. You knew you were going to get a bunch of singles matches. Dudes trying to, break the scale, essentially. Like, last year ended up being, like, Omega in 3 matches in the tournament, capped with his, Sunday win over Ishii for the U.S. title. You had Okada defending against Cody in the main event of night 1. And you had just, like, a bunch of tournament matches, just, like, with all the big stars, like, with Naito, with, pretty much everyone that is on the fucking in New Japan. Like it was just so much like good shit. So let's go through the final card here. Start with the opener. It's Roppongi 3K and Rocky Romero against Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. Haven't seen any of those or Scorpio Sky before. Seen Christopher Daniels. Haven't ever seen Kazarian. But Roppongi 3K is really good, and Rocky Romero is cool. Gato and Haruki Goto will be facing Juice Robinson and David Finlay. Now, this is kind of on the heels of Juice Robinson just getting the pin over Goto recently, and it looks like they may break off into the Never Championship at some point. So maybe they'll fight each other at Sakura Genesis, or maybe even Wrestling Dontaku. Gato in the match, James. So this is going to be fun.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
After that, we got Chuck Taylor and Toru Yano. So Chucky T and Toru Yano is like a super comedy tag team against Davey Boy.
Really?
Yes.
I would never have guessed that Toru Yano was doing super comedy.
Yes. But Chuck Taylor's like hilarious. Or Chucky T, as they say. They're taking on Dave Boy Smith and Lance Archer. He's going to come out there and spit water at people. I would not want to be in the ringside for none of that shit. I don't know how they get down in Japan, but not over here, bro. I'm not here for you to spit water at me. I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, like this is like people fly in for this show. People are going to fly in for this show and they get spat on by this asshole.
Nah, I'm not with that type of smoke.
I throw a chair at his fuck ass.
Yes. After that, we have Cody and Marty Scurll against the Guerrillas of Destiny. So that's pretty interesting. Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, and Guerrillas of Destiny is Tama Tonga and Tangaloa. And I'm a Tama Tonga mark, as y'all can see with the hair. We out here. Josh said you look like King Haku, and Jeremy said you like Haku with that. Just as tough too. So. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Rhodes and Skrull in that position. But like I said, there's a lot of tag matches, so I feel like people are going to get like the real New Japan like on some of these. Like you're seeing a lot of multi-mans in here. After that, we have an 8-man tag. We have Tanahashi, Kushida, Dragon Lee, and Taguchi against LIJ, and that would be Sanada, Naito, Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi. Now, James, do you realize what I just said?
Yes, Kushida and Takahashi are going to be in the same match together. Yes, I get what you said. Yes.
No, and also Dragon Lee and Takahashi will be in the same match with each other, and they don't give a fuck.
True.
They'll come out there and kill each other.
Yeah, morons.
So also Tanahashi will be taking on you'll get him facing off with Naito for the first time since the G1 A Block final. Replacing Rey Mysterio will be Will Ospreay, and he'll be taking on Juice and Thunder Liger. So no Rey Mysterio in this match. He came out with that bicep tear, and it looks like he's probably headed back to WWE. So we may not ever see these two run it back. What do you think about Will Ospreay being the replacement?
I mean, it's a very good replacement. I mean, obviously, at this point, at this stage of the game, Ospreay is a better wrestler than Rey, but. Just as far as an attraction, Rey, like seeing Rey versus Liger, would have made my day. It's unfortunate it didn't happen.
Yeah. After that, Kazuchika Okada and Tomohiro Ishii will be taking on Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki. So those guys are heels, big heels, and going against Okada and Ishii of Chaos. What do you think about Zack Sabre Jr.?
I think that he is not for everybody, and by not everybody, I mean like
me.
For the most part, me. I'm not. He's don't get me wrong. Like he's very very solid, but I don't watch New Japan to watch people lay on the mat and rest holds. And I mean, you can say what you want to about how excruciating the stuff looks in the finger and the wrenching and whatever else, and like how he twists people up in like pretzels, whatever else. But I don't watch New Japan for that,
bro. You know what?
I just don't. And I mean, he's.
You know what this is? What Zack Sabre Jr. is? Zack Sabre Jr. is the Detroit Pistons. He is the bad boy Pistons. He is the 2004 Pistons. He's the slow it down. You have to play their type of game. Like, you have to wrestle their type of match or whatever. And it's like, it's not exciting. We watched Sabre and Tanahashi together, actually, with Jeremy and Josh. I didn't get off the couch once, like, in excitement or anything. It's like, whoever wrestles him essentially has to do that. And what's the next gear for him? So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I can't wait till Okada just puts a rainmaker through his face.
Wait till they do the Okada Saber match. I guarantee you, this fuck is going to, like, when it comes time for Okada to do the drop kick, he's going to catch his drop kick and then put it into an ankle lock or something like that, and then sit out on it and then wrap it in. Like, it's going to be something like, he's like, oh, great. Like, another thing that, like, is really fun that you decided, like, you just want to, like, flatten out completely. Great.
You take away all the fun, like, and just lay on a bitch. Like, come on, man. Like,
that dude can never be a babyface for that kind of style.
Like, hit the weights, bro. Do something. Well, yeah, Suzuki's in the match. So, seeing Suzuki match up with Ishii, I'm definitely looking forward to. I definitely want to see a slap off, some type of tough man type of deal.
Quick question. Like, do we know if it's in Long Beach this year, or is it in, like, another part of LA or Southern California?
I think it's still in Long Beach, but it's at the Walter Pyramid. So it's a bigger building this year.
Okay, are they going to bring in the SWAT team for Ishii and Suzuki, or?
Well, they are almost in LA.
Because no mere man is going to be able to stop. No mere men are going to be able to stop them too. You need to bring in tactical gear for these two.
Yes. Also, after that, we have, now this is a big match for, not necessarily like in name or anything, but this is big for them. Jay White and Hangman Page. If Jay White comes out here again and he does not have a 4-star match again, I'm about to fire off on him. Like, be like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Get the belt off of this man. This man's like he's not good. Like, let him figure it out a little bit more before y'all out here just, keep shoving him.
He's not good. No. You mean to say he's not good enough?
Correct. Like they're gonna be in the semi-main event here, and that IWGP US belt. The last holder, this dude was main eventing with this shit, having great matches. All till this dude showed up. Look, I remember Wrestle Kingdom. Hey, I remember Wrestle Kingdom. Not even that.
Right? How about this? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I remember Wrestle Kingdom when people were trying to blame this shit on Tanahashi. Where's it at now? That Tanahashi's out here going out there with Suzuki. That Tanahashi's out here going out here with Juice Robinson. That Tanahashi's going out here in the whole New Japan Cup. Where's it all now?
Yeah.
That the ace is still the ace.
Thing about it, yeah, exactly. Another thing about it is, like, it ain't even just about the Tanahashi stuff. It's also about, like, Jay White. Like, I have yet to see a match on a card, on a prominent card, where Ishii didn't have like 4.25 at the least, probably 4.5. So, like, for you to come out here immediately after him, like, I suggest you bring it, brother, because like, Ishii don't fuck off. So, I suggest you bring it.
Like, Jay White and Hangman, he's fighting Hangman Page, and Hangman Page is starting to try to get his own self going, but he's still not the level, like, of the top guys. So this is a big match for these guys, and I think if they get, they're going to get time, so they have no excuse. So they have to come through. I don't know what we're going to see, so I'm just sit back and watch. But based on, like, where these guys have been, if they do one of those, I think people are going to be coming, and I'll be coming for them. And I'll be in a group chat lighting it up right now, like, about these guys and what the fuck they're doing to the IWGP US title, a.k.a. the old Kenny Omega Heavyweight Championship of the world. And in the main event...
you mean the participation trophy they gave him because he's not Omega, or he's not Okada?
Anyway,
okay, gotcha. Cool.
Anyway, who's in the main event? Oh, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, the Golden Lovers, will be teaming up to face the Young Bucks. This match is a match that is directly out of the Rich Latta School of Dream Wrestling. This is going to be a 5-star match, James. And I come out here and I let people know when it's going to be 5, like I did with Omega and Jericho. I didn't quite call that on Almas and Gargano, but I knew it was going to be great. But I have no doubt that these guys are going to come up with innovative stuff, absolutely mind-blowing, like, either spots, synchronization, chemistry, anything. Like, I think this is going to be, like, one of the best tag team matches we'll ever see in our lives.
Yeah, it can definitely be that. Like, before you even brought up the whole it's going to be a 5-star thing, I was going to set the over-under for you at, like, 4 3/4. So, yeah.
I took the over.
All right.
So, I think these guys are going to be, ready, and these guys have been wanting to have this match for like 10 years, they say. And if you think Kenny Omega's coming to the U.S. to fuck around, I don't think so. This is the biggest spot I feel like the Young Bucks have ever been in, just nationally.
Yeah, it is.
And with New Japan.
Like, now that you think about it,
they're putting them in the main event like
for
that.
For them, this is definitely bigger than any Wrestle Kingdom match, and this is definitely bigger than any Ring of Honor match. Yeah, so yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys on Keeping It Strong Style and James, what you guys think about the show. Probably all watch it together. I got to figure out. I got to get the new address of the Strong Style in Donovan's dojo. So I got to get the new address.
Wait, they moved?
I
thought okay.
I don't know if it's official yet.
Like I don't. Maybe we should do this off air, but I thought like yesterday what they told us was like this was helping Josh move stuff in. I didn't know that they were moving out. I had no idea.
I don't know. So yeah, we'll have to figure that out. But
yeah, here booking on the fly.
Yeah,
without telling the workers.
But yeah, this is gonna be a really big show for New Japan, and it's a different show than last year. You're still getting all the stars.
Yeah, a lot different.
Do
you think there's a possibility that obviously this is one show compared to two, but do you think that tonight will be better than either night from last year?
It could be better than night one.
Because that's a high bar.
It could be better than night one. I don't know about night two. Because like when they ended with Kenny Omega cutting the promo with the belt and basically like looking like a god, like that's gonna be hard to top. But if anyone can do it,
do you think it could be better than night one?
I think
night one was. I mean, geez, that Elgin match was incredible.
Yeah.
The other match was incredible. What was it? It was Ishii versus Omega, right? Or am I wrong?
That was night two.
Night two. So I'm sorry. So Elgin with Omega was the first night.
Right.
And then Ishii fought who in the first night last year? I forgot.
He might have fought. I had to look it up. Naito.
But whatever it was, it probably was like 4.5 because I've never seen Ishii in a match lower than that ever. I'm not even joking. Like based on like obviously like this isn't science. Like this is all anecdotal and it's all about me. But like I don't think other than Omega and Okada, I don't think anybody else has like been consistently better in matches that I've ever seen than Ishii.
Like Ibushi, maybe. Like I think Ibushi. Like I want to say that
Ibushi would be up there too.
Yeah, it's like
Ibushi would be up there too.
If you look up the Pro Fight database, I believe the top 4 is Omega, then Okada, then Ishii, then Ibushi. I believe.
Huh? How about that?
So,
yeah, and then like probably right after that would be like Tanahashi. That's it. And like the only reason why he would be the last on the list is because of what happened at Wrestle Kingdom this year. Thanks, Jay White.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, and that man's out here throwing off Omega's star rating. So, like, I got real smoke with Jay White right now. Like, figure it out, bro. Figure it out.
Yeah. Bro, we talk about, like, that man is a very good wrestler. We treat him like he's Toriano.
It's like, bro, don't come out here and fucking star ratings
averages.
Look. You know how I was saying, like, yeah, man, New Japan, it just ain't like this year. Like, obviously last year was a legendary year, and it's still very good New Japan. Right. But I'm saying, yeah, it's a down year. Like when you look at it, and I feel like Jay White's the walking embodiment of that. Like they're trying a couple things in New Japan so far this year. I feel like.
Well, I would say if the standard is now like what they set last year, then yeah, it's sure impossible. It is a down year. However, like compared to, I don't know, like 2016, I don't think it's been that much worse than 2016. I don't think it has been worse than 2016 New Japan necessarily. Like, I would say this. I would say wait until we get into like G1 until we start declaring that, because like the G1's we'll see when G1 happens. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Like if he's out there with like average star ratings of like on his blog and being in like 3 3.75, and like we definitely need to get Jay White about the paint. We need to take his ass back to America. But but we'll see. The jury's still out. That's how I feel.
But yeah, man, I think that will... Oh, one last thing I want to talk about, and I believe it was a question from Dan. So, Hulk Hogan recently, it was confirmed that he and WWE took a meeting recently, and it looks like it wasn't a thing like where they were signing him, but I feel like where there is smoke, there is fire in this thing. And also Mark Henry had some comments about Hulk Hogan that he's, that I'm going to read off in a moment. So let's just go through the story real quick. I'm pulling it up right now with Hogan. So WWE was having, they said they have had discussions with Hulk Hogan about how he can help others learn from his mistakes. However, he's not under contract with WWE. Now, I'm not here for this Hogan shit. I probably never will be at this point. Hogan has a lot to do as far as, trying to get that real forgiveness rather than, in my opinion, from where I stand. And, I don't want to speak for black folks everywhere because I'm sure, not everyone feels like us. But time passing just ain't going to be enough.
Yeah, I agree.
And right on the heels of this Moolah shit, to me, Hulk Hogan contributes zero to WWE right now. They're not going to let him wrestle at his age. They're not going to really be able to send him out there anywhere unless they're all right. We'll end the interview if you ask him about such and such. It's an unnecessary headache. I feel like. Do they really want to sell Hulk Hogan merchandise that badly?
I think that's part of it. They'd be like, well, bring him in. He can always sell merch for us or whatever else. And it is a big business, and big businesses are not people. They're heartless. They're heartless, capitalistic institutions that are only meant to make money. So whatever. I feel like if they want to bring him back, cool. But that cool is contingent on them actually reaching out and doing something to actually show there was some type of something done as opposed to just time passed.
Right.
So whether that be he's out in the community or doing whatever else or going on tour or going on a PR tour, showing contrition or whatever else, or put some money on something, unless it's something like that or something along those lines, I don't really want to see Hogan back. Because like you said, at this point he has nothing to any of these shows or whatever else. And then another part is whether he's an ambassador or he's going to be an on-air talent. If he's an on-air talent, what can he do besides, I guess, GM? Everyone do you want to see Hulk Hogan GM and come out there every other week, fucking
up promos and messing stuff up? No.
Yeah,
no.
Right. Yeah. So, I think whatever they do, they better have a plan. Kind of like that. I told you about the old Dean Smith story, where it's Coach Smith, if we're up by 3 and the time's running down on the clock, should we take the foul before they get the shot off, or should we just play it out? And Dean Smith says, whatever you do, make sure you have a plan so that when the media comes and asks you, you can say this was your line of thinking. So whatever they have, they better have a plan.
And I want to read this quote from Mark Henry because he brought up something I didn't know about, and I feel like that's really interesting and really co-signs a lot of the stuff that we're saying. So apparently there's a delegation of black wrestlers around the world, which is fucking amazing. I didn't know that, for one. There's a committee, there's a chairman, there's a board, it's this is tight. And I need to find out, and he, what the specifics are with it. But he basically said, I don't know if I'm ready. There's a lot to be done. So the quote was, there are leaked videos of the Andre story on HBO coming up on the 29th, and the opening is in Los Angeles, and he's in it. It's kind of a deal where you just have to accept it. He's a public figure. It doesn't mean that everything he's done is forgiven. You just got to take the good with the bad and see how you can help the situation. I'm sitting on the chair of the delegation, and they're not ready. I've had many talks with dozens of guys, and the consensus is that there's a lot of work to be done to heal that wound and fix that wall. And then he further explained about the delegation. He said the delegation is pretty much much of the more established African-American wrestlers in the country and in the world for that matter. Every promotion, and there's not a wrestling promotion that doesn't house someone from the delegation. He said, and what does Hogan need to do? There's going to have to be more community service and outwork, support for programs, and even creative programs that deal with diversity in the workplace. I don't process everything like everything else. I believe that everyone should be given a second chance, but I also believe that you have to own your issue, whatever that is. You got to make closure on everyone else's behalf, not just yours. And I don't think you can say it any better than that, because to me, it's not about our quote on, and we have friends like, of all ethnicities that listen to this show and listeners and all that, but this isn't about white folks being ready for Hogan to come back. I feel like this is about us.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's about like the aggrieved party and what do you do to show a sincere, or at least something that looks like a sincere olive branch or whatever, or mea culpa or whatever you want to call it, to the aggrieved group. Like he didn't just, and it's not even just a simple thing. Like, it'd be one thing if he just like spouted out the N-word or whatever else, and like be like, yeah, I said this and I shouldn't have said this and it's terrible, but I, blah 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 blah. Like, this dude said that he declared himself a racist,
right?
And then said that like,
I am a racist. And then when people come out here and say that, I don't think Hogan's a racist, it's like, what the fuck more do you want him to tell you?
Well, let me like finish my point. Like, yeah. He said that he declared himself a racist, and then said that like he would not want his daughter Brooke to be like involved with any black people unless they are a black person that has a bunch of tools or whatever else, or basically an exceptional Negro. Yeah, like, that's the only, like that's it. So it's like, oh, okay, like so you're like the worst, like you're like all on like the mistigation, all the other foolishness too. Like you're one of those, like Jesus. So yeah, it ain't just a simple, I made a bad choice of words, or I was upset, or whatever else, blah, blah, blase squad, whatever else. Like, nah, that man went beyond the whole, like, heat of the moment type of thing. Like,
man had the mindset out here, letting you know, like, what it is, the ideology behind this shit.
Yeah, so, yeah, like, that man out here worried about motherfuckers replacing him. So, if you catch my drift. So, he definitely has to come correct with it, and all we ask, like, I ain't even asked for no like real. I'm not even asking for some real deal, like, be like Michael Vick out there telling kids left and right, like, this is a mistake, you don't do this. I've been over begging for forgiveness for years, and still people slay his guts. I'm talking about like, seeing through all the PR stuff, people get caught up in scandals. Like, I'm talking about some, like, for lack of a better word, and I know this is gonna sound really nihilistic. I'm talking about some bare minimum shit. Mm-hmm. Just some bare minimum shit. Like, like we'll see what they do. Like, if they hopefully, I will say this. One thing though will make me upset is if they make this into a storyline.
Oh my God! When they have like the New Day walk up on him or something, like, and welcome him back and whatever, like, I'll be disgusted. Like, I'll be like, yeah, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just, bring him back, have him acknowledge it, or acknowledge it off air or whatever else. Do what they need to do as far as reaching out and go from there. Like, but like short of that, like, kick rocks.
Yeah, I think he needs to like if you're gonna do it right, it needs like you need to open up the checkbook. You need to go over to Greenwood. You need to go over to Ross Norton. You need to go over to Southside St. Pete. Cut checks. Put whatever into the community you can try to do. Community centers. Whatever you got to do, man. Like, as far as like to get things back. Like, give them a real interview with like some of the more famous like black wrestlers, like make him explain himself essentially. Like it's real easy for him to explain himself on Good Morning America or something like that. And I know that's like a wider audience or something like that, but it's like, man, go out there and say that shit to like apologize to the people you offended, like for real, like not just like a mass consumption like statement that you got prepared in your head. Like that doesn't really hit with me.
I'll say this though, you know what else would make me be like, I'm done with this shit?
What?
If he shows up on fucking Breakfast Club, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind.
So you want to watch Charlamagne to grill him? Be like,
No, I don't mean I wouldn't watch Charlamagne and them, because I don't watch that bullshit. I wouldn't watch WWE no more. I'd be like, I'm completely done. I'm done with this. This is bullshit. Like y'all are pretty much pulling like any platform of black people, any old platform. Doesn't matter if it's good. Doesn't matter if it's reputable. Doesn't matter if it's anything. Like black people watch it. Put them on there. Like nah, man, I'm good. Fuck off.
Yeah, like have Bomani interview this man. Put some out there with Bomani on the right time.
Oh my god.
Bomani a Ric Flair fan, so Bomani will pull no punches and hold him to the fire.
Bomani's a Hogan fan too. Bomani thinks that like Rick Derringer, Real American, is like one of the greatest songs ever, especially wrestling songs.
Well, I mean that Real American theme song got a whole nother feel to it now in these streets in 2018.
Jesus.
So they could kick that up the road essentially. But yeah, man, that pretty much will wrap it up for me, at least. Anything that you wanted to bring up, James, before we get up out of here?
Nah, just ready to see what they do tomorrow, because like they're gonna have to do a lot of stuff tomorrow to like. It's so weird, like the Undertaker thing. Like that's supposed to be like a headlining match, but like they've done nothing to make you actually like think like, oh yeah, that match is gonna happen. So like, yeah, we're just definitely gonna sell these tickets. Mm-hmm. Where like you think about WrestleMania 32, like when Shane and Undertaker, when Shane and Undertaker was announced, that was in February.
Yeah, it was the night after Fastlane.
Yes, and now we're waiting for the Undertaker Cena match to be announced 2 weeks out. Like people can't make plans that, like if you were someone who actually like to be into that match and be like, I've been waiting for this for so long or whatever. And like Chad was talking about,
and you don't know. Like, you're just watching it, and you're like, they're going to have him fight Kane now? I don't get it. Like, if you have a family you're trying to bring or something like that, like, I don't know. Like, WrestleMania is WrestleMania to an extent, but there's still, the matches still have to be kind of confirmed, don't you think?
Yeah. So you was thinking, like, okay, so you mean to tell me by the time they actually finally confirm this thing, at the earliest, it will be 13 days for WrestleMania. So people, like, will be making plans to actually go to this thing based off of seeing, like, Undertaker Cena 13 days before the fucking show. Like, they should have did this like 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. This is terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure you guys check out the rest of the shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. And also reach out to us on Twitter. You can check out the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. Kyle Moore's and Rants were on there this week. It was a fun show. Make sure you guys check out Keeping It Strong Style. James will be doing a run-in on their show this week, and that will be very fun to hear. I will not be with James on that show, so James is freed. If you like, this show for James, you guys can go, check that out. Who else on the network? Oh, we got the SMC podcast, which is on hiatus at the moment, but they will be back, guns blazing, I believe. So yeah, that's gonna wrap the show up. We appreciate you guys listening and tuning into the live version. Everybody that submitted comments and everyone that has been interacting on Twitter. It's been a fun week. I anticipate doing an Eddie Guerrero Lords of Pain Hall of Fame column that I might write sometime today, so that will be out. And thank you to everyone that read my Daniel Bryan column. Oh, also, buddy that was talking about the cops and never reading one of my columns again because of the line that I said about the cops. So if you haven't read it, it was like, I quoted someone from Twitter that was watching the Daniel Bryan promo, and their response was, if you didn't feel that, you're a cop. and I included that in my column or whatever. So I'm going to to find this comment and read it to y'all. If you guys have been listening to One Nation Radio, you already know how we get down on these subjects. So his comment was, what would have been a decent column was ruined by an insensitive dig at law enforcement officers. Of all Twitter comments for you to pull from, you decided upon one that equates cops as having no feelings. It must be great being a liberal where you can continually accuse those around that you disagree with of being bigots, racists, and etc. with no supporting evidence. Then around and attack a group of well-trained and highly educated public servants who, by the way, encompass all spectrums of race and ethnicity as if they deserve to be denigrated because they're at the top of the liberals' current boogeyman list. I'll never read another one of your columns unless you apologize to the many upright and professional men and women who serve as law enforcement officers around the world. As for the crooked ones, you have something in common as someone who uses generalizations to justify their animosity towards people in groups they don't like.
Okay, so for that person that said that, I would suggest like reading the Kerner report that our own government did in the 60s. And two, you said you never mentioned anything about bigots or racism. He did.
Exactly.
So like you ever heard the old country term like a hit dog gonna holler?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Bow wow wow, he's howling.
Yes. So whoever you were, what's his name on there? Faith returns. So Faith returns. I suggest you return to whatever hole that you crawled out of. I don't need you to read my columns. You're welcome to. I might just throw a line in there every time to piss you off. Why? Because I'm currently always with the smoke and ready for whatever in these streets.
Yeah. And another thing, since he's the one that brought up race, we didn't. He's the one that brought up race and talked about statistically about cops and being on the up and up. Like, I suggest you like read anything about like mass incarceration in this country, or I don't know. Anything about like the amounts of crimes committed between black people and white people, and then the amount and the rate at which black people and white people get arrested and are tried and convicted. So sound like bullshit. That you would even say that sounds preposterous to me. So I suggest you in the words of Robert Ory, read a newspaper or something.
Yes, read a newspaper. So do what you want with it, bro. So I got these columns and they bringing them out, James. Bringing them out.
Yeah.
I love
you didn't even say anything about race. He's the one that brought up race. That's crazy. Maybe I should like send him my column that I'm ready for the next Black World Champion as a response. Oh, that's that. Oh, he'll really be angry at that. That'd be funny.
He'll really be angry at that. So yeah, if y'all want to see me troll this guy, check out my column on lordsofpain.com. It's why Daniel Bryan's return is so important to us. I am going to go in the comment section and start a fire, essentially. So check it out. And we're going to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all listening. And thank you guys as always. We love our audience. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for listening to One Nation Radio. We'll see you next time.